everyone, welcome to J-Hook Crochet. I am Reggie and this is Yarniversity. Good to see you all here this wonderful Sunday evening. Hello to everyone in the chat. I see we already have a few people here, so hi, welcome in. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up, and if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe down below. So if you're new here, I'm Reggie. I live in Germany. This is my channel, J-Hook Crochet, and every Sunday at this hour, we have Yarniversity, which is a yarn or crochet related live class, but a different topic each Sunday. So thank you for coming in. I very much appreciate you being here, and we have quite a few new subscribers lately. So if this is your first time here, introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where in the world you are from, and if your channel name is not your actual name, then if you want us to call you your actual name, you can write that too, so that we all know who you are. Yeah, so and by the way, if you're watching this on replay, then you are watching a replay of a live chat. This is not an edited video, so I will be responding to people talking in the chat, and every now and then there will be a bit of chit chat in between the actual information. So if you're watching this on replay, you have the advantage that you can just skip ahead in the video to the parts that you actually want to see and hear. If you're with us here live, you don't have that advantage, but you do have the advantage of commenting in the chat while we are live and actually conversing and responding to what we see on the video. And if you're not sure if you are watching this live or on replay, all you have to do is look at the top of the chat screen. If it says live chat or top chat, then you're with us live. If it says live chat replay or top chat replay, then you're watching the replay and you're not actually live here with us. Chris, you tried to access the accompanying blog and it said you weren't authorized. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe someone else can try to click the link and let me know if it works. Hi Doris and Annika, and hello Dan. Wow, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? Hi, hello everyone. Sorry that I really I can't go one by one. People are complaining that I talk too much to in the comments. So a collective hello to everyone. I don't have a lot of announcements this week, just like last week. Not a lot has happened other than me working all the time. I do have a stitch marker sale on my Etsy shop that started, and it's gonna run until the end of the month. So if you were interested in any stitch markers from the Etsy shop, now would be the best time to get them because they are discounted. And one more thing that I wanted to mention is due to a cancellation from someone who didn't quite read the description very well. We have one last January Yarn Club box available on the Etsy shop. So it's the very last one for the January edition. So if you were contemplating, thinking, not sure if you should get them, it's the very last box, and once that box is gone, it's gone. It was already gone, but I had to put it back on the Etsy shop due to the cancellation. So once someone gets it, it's gone, and then all the January subscriptions are sold out, and the next chance you'll get is February. So yeah, like I said, if you're new here, hi, welcome in. I'm glad you guys are all here. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up for the video, and if you're not yet subscribed, subscribe down below. How's the new job going? It's going very well. I'm just really tired, but it's going well. Okay, Chris Catherine is saying that the link works for her without a problem, so maybe just try clicking on it again. Hi Jana, I'm glad you're with us this week. How is it going? How is your visit going? Okay, I'm glad, Chris, that it works again. That's great. So yes, for those of you who didn't get it, today's topic is already on the blog. So, you know, if you can't stay or you don't want to listen to me blabber on and you just prefer to read about today's topic in the blog, so all you gotta do is click the link and, or you can just open it and follow along while I talk. And oh my God, we got a super chat. I will be trying to do that thing again that we were talking about before. Oh my God. Yes. And thank you, Dana. Thank you so much. And cheers to Dana. Don't be mistaken by my cool yarn mug. I'm still drinking wine. Hi everyone coming in. Welcome in. Yeah, yes, Dana, let's email about that again. I'm not sure what happened with my side of it, but we can talk about that again. You're frogging hobby cookie yarn? Oh well, that happened. All right, so yeah, I was saying that the last January Yarn Club is still on the Etsy shop for those of you who are interested. And oh, thank you, Doris. Cheers to you as well. Thank you, Roberta. You guys, thank you. I highly appreciate it. And cheers to Roberta too. You guys are gonna get me drunk. You did not miss any kind of balls yet. Thank you. This is my yarn ball mug. It comes with a hook in it. Can you see? There's a crochet hook in it. I look like the Madonna. Oh, thank you, Chris. I'm wearing my Yarniversity t-shirt. For those of you who are interested, these are available on the Teespring shop. The link is in the description box below, and you can get Yarniversity merch and have your very own Yarniversity t-shirt. Yeah, so I told you guys about the stitch marker sale on the Etsy shop. I told you guys about the last January club box still available on the Etsy shop. And the last announcement that I have for today is for those of you who are a part of the membership program. We did have our members only live yesterday. So the members only live is available to all level of membership. So no matter what level of membership you have, you will be able to watch the members only live, whether it's live or on replay. Just like any other live, the members only live, once it's over, it goes into replay. So if you are a member, you can also watch it on replay. If you're not a member, you cannot watch it. So that's so we had our members only live yesterday, and we started working on the new members only project. So if you weren't there and you're interested, you can go and watch the replay and get the pattern from the description box of the members only live video, and you can start working on it. And as I've said yesterday on the live, I'm going to say it again to all you members: if you're working on the pattern, you can post pictures of either whips or finished projects or both with the hashtag members only project on either Instagram or Facebook, or send them to me to my email and tag me if you post on any of the social media, so that I'll be able to see it. And any picture of the members only project that you post enters you into the members only giveaway at the end of the month. So because this month's project is a kind of a bigger project, because we're working on a wrap, then you can post pictures of whips as well, not just finished objects. I will, however, would love to see pictures of finished objects when you finish them, but you don't have to actually finish the whole wrap in January. You can start now and work it through the month. So just wanted to say that for our members. I'm glad you guys all like the yarn mug. Oh, kisses to Julie. It's okay, Chris. Like I said, you can watch it on the replay. Take smaller sips. Yes, that's a good suggestion. Hello, Luna. It's your first time here. Where do you find the info to be a member? So there's a join button. It's right next to the subscribe button. So if you look down under the video, there's a subscribe button, and right next to it, there is a button that says join. And if you press on it, then you'll get a rundown of what it means to be a member, of the different level of memberships. There is one thing that you should know. As I've said, the members only live and the members only patterns are available to all level of membership. So you don't, even though it says on the when you press the join button, it will tell you that the lives are only from a certain tier and up. It doesn't matter anymore. I have opened them to all level of memberships. I did that already 8 months ago, so in case you were a member and you didn't know. Yeah, so if you want to join the membership program, I either press the join button next to the subscribe button, or there is also a direct link in the description box below this video. It tells you join this channel to gain special perks, and if you press that link, it will take you to the same place. It's okay if you guys forgot about the live. As I've said, you always have the replay. It wasn't a very long live, and the pattern is written. You can get it in written form, and there is the link is in the description box of the members only live, so you don't actually have to watch the whole thing to get the pattern. And Catherine is saying she highly recommends the members only pattern of this month. Yes, Luna, I am on Facebook. All my links are in the description box below. As I've said, if you guys are new here, all of my social media links are in the description box below, as well as all of, my Etsy information, my affiliated links, and links that are not affiliated but let you have a special discount if you use them. And of course, all the information for today's live as well. He's such a good kisser, Dana. Catherine, can you get that, please? You love what Imogen is wearing. Imogen is wearing the Asgard shawl, for those of you who still don't know this pattern. I'm pretty sure this is like my #1 selling pattern. And the reason Imogen is wearing it today is because I was really surprised and very, very happy. Crystal Bagode was wearing an Asgard shawl on her live last night. Did you guys see that? Crystal is wearing my designs. Yeah, so I thought Imogen should too. All right, Luna, thank you very much. And yeah, so that was pretty much all I had to say for today. We managed to go through that in 13 minutes. So I hope nobody complains this time. Yeah. All right, so now we can very, slowly and surely start talking about this week's topic. So before we actually start the class, I just want to tell you guys, this topic has been one of my favorite to research so far, if not the favorite to research so far. I've been working the research for today's live for a very long time now. And this is not going to be the only live on that topic. So I didn't want to do them all at once because there's more than I can squeeze into one live. Even my lives, when they go long, there's still way more. And so I've decided that these are going to be somewhat divided along the year, just like my art lives and my fashion lives that I do one every few months. So once every few months we will also do one of these ones, one of the traditional and cultural fiber arts. I thought there is a very, very interesting subject, and there's a lot of different cultures to explore. So I'm gonna try to put like 5 of them on each one of the lives and do the lives once every few months. So they will be in between the other Yarniversity lessons. Sonia. People always find something to complain, especially Germans. You missed a lot, but it's okay. She showed some new yarns that she's working on with Lion Brand, and just generally chatted. It was really nice, but I was really honored. Yeah. Judy also loves the Asgard shawl, but you think the Zerzura is even better, really? One of your favorite shawl patterns to do is the Zerzura shawl. I am flattered. Thank you, Judy. Hi, Mickey. Hi, Alice. You'll be home soon. Okay. Join us when you can. So, yeah. So as I've said, this was one of my favorite topics to research so far. I have so much enjoyed the research because it's so interesting, and I have found out so much. And I hope that you guys will find it as interesting as I think it is. I hope that it will be, you know, educational and interesting to you guys in the same level that it has been to me. If not, you can always, you know, shut the video off. Nobody's forcing you to be here. Sonia, you're part German, part British, which means you like to take over the world in a polite way. That's the right way to do it. Lacey says the favorite shawl of mine for her is the dragon wing looking one. She can't recall the name. Oh, the Rivendell shawl. Yeah, I'm glad you like that. I'm glad you guys like, you know, my patterns in general. That's a big compliment. All right. So yeah, as I've said, very nice subject for me. I had a lot of fun. So before we begin, if you haven't yet, please don't forget to hit the like button, the thumbs up for this video, you know, just to help me a little bit with your with my analytics. And if you're not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. And we're gonna start talking about cultural and traditional fiber arts, or fiber arts that are specific or indigenous to a specific culture. I'm glad you guys love the patterns. That makes me very happy. Yeah, so indigenous. That's the word I was looking for. Oh, I have a visitor. Wait a second. Hi. Was machst du hier? Geh mal zum Papa. Sag mal hi. Mach mal hi. Sag mal hallo. Hallo. Okay. Bis später. Yeah, you have to come say hello. He doesn't want to go to bed. Yes, that's the word. Indigenous. Please, you know, forgive me. English is not my my mother tongue. That was Jonathan, for those of you who haven't seen him yet. Indigenous. Thank you. Yeah. So, fiber arts that are related to a specific culture, or that are a, how do you say that? They are a character? No. My English is down the drain today. What's going on? I'm just gonna, you know, let go of the introduction. Yes, he saw himself on camera. He loves it every time. when he sits here and sees himself on camera. He really likes it. Hi, Melissa. I have too many languages in my head. That's a very, very common problem with me. Characteristic, thank you. Maybe I should just sit here and you guys will come up with the words. Exactly. We can do it in Hebrew. That would be very interesting. Ashley says, be careful. I'm so bad at saying no to people with big blue eyes. I think specifically with Jonathan, everyone he has met so far has that problem. Nobody can say no to him, and he uses it. He uses it very, very well. I can mime the lessons too, no problem. It will just be a very, very strange video. So yeah, so for a while now, I've been researching and looking into the development of different fiber arts in different cultures all around the world. And it appears that, you know, each area in the world, each continent, each country, sometimes each region has their own traditions and unique culture and characteristics when it comes to fiber arts. It looks like different societies adopted and perfected different types and styles of fiber arts, you know, made them unique to them and inserted certain elements which are now specific to them alone. So they came up with something, and since then, that something is what is unique to that specific fiber art that's only done in that specific region. And it verges all throughout fiber art. So spinning, weaving, sewing, quilting, felting, rug making, needlepoint, embroidery, crochet, knitting, looming, all over, you know, the scope. So really, each different culture with each different fiber art, somehow, you know, they made the perfect connection that is what was needed or what was right for them. And so depending, you know, on the different area that they live in and the materials that were available to them. And of course, in many times, the use, you know, the thing which for they needed whatever it is that they were making. So whether it is to make clothing or decorations or certain useful items for everyday life, so, you know, just like society developed, you know, utensils of different kinds, they developed fiber arts just the same. So today I want to explore some of these cultures and traditions and talk about some of the ones that I have found are more interesting. And again, I understand how this kind of video might be, you know, some people would say, oh, but there's also this. Why didn't you talk about that? Look, there are way more than I can actually talk about in one Yarniversity, which is why, as I've just said, I'm going to stretch this across a few Yarniversities throughout the year. So I'm going to really try not to put them too close together so that there will be a lot of content in between, but I am going to try and talk about as many of them as possible throughout the year so that nobody will feel left out or like I'm not discriminating against any kind of population. So please, nobody take it this way. And it could also happen that at some point today or in a different Yarniversity throughout the year, I will talk about a certain culture that you might be related to or a part of, and so feel comfortable to correct me or add from your personal knowledge as much as you want, but just please, nobody take offense from everything I do, because I don't set out to offend anyone. Right, every culture has its own stories to tell, and they came through the fiber arts of, yeah, it is very, very true. Right, so of course, as always, I have my pictures, and we will have visual aid. So the first item, or the first cultural traditional item that I want to talk about is Persian Kilim, or Kilim, as I was told is the correct way to say it. So these are flat woven tapestry rugs, which have been handmade by groups of tribal and nomadic people in countries of the former Persian Empire for thousands of years. So those of you who are not familiar, the Persian Empire spread throughout Iran, Iraq, the Turkey, the Balkan countries, and throughout at some point even closer to the Mediterranean Sea. So it spread across a very large variety of countries in today's map. But back then it was all the Persian Empire, and this specific tradition evolved at the time of the Persian Empire, but as the Persian Empire perished, the tradition remained, and so today it still exists in those countries, but since they're no longer belonging to one big empire and cultures changed and borders were established, then each region actually have their own style of the Kilim rug. Yes, I agree, Catherine. Yes, there are. There's going to be a lot of different fiber arts, Judy. So as you can see, we are starting with actual rug making, and these rugs have become actually so popular in the world that they are known the countries that they are made in are actually known throughout the world with the funny name the rug belt, because they stretch across the middle of the map. When you look at the world map, all those countries, Iran, Iraq, Turkey, and the Balkans, is sort of like stretch across the middle of the world map. It's sort of like a belt, and in that belt, they make these rugs. Lori. Just say hello. Catherine is saying geography was so much easier when you had one or two empires, right? Right? When you just had those empires, you didn't have to remember the names of thousands of countries. Hundreds of countries. Yeah, so the rug belt is what these countries are called today. And the name, Kilim, it originated from Persian. In Persian or ancient Persian, it means to spread something that you spread roughly around in a certain area, or in Turkish it means a pileless textile. The reason it's called that way is because of the way the rugs are made, and we will discuss it in a second. They have been produced since ancient times. However, not many ancient ones were found in, by archaeologists and explorers. Because of that, it is very hard to pinpoint the point in time in which they first appears. The reason why you cannot find them is because they are not very durable. So through time, they don't, this kind of textile did not survive. And so not many of them were found. So it is very hard to say a certain period in time when they first appear. However, it is clear that the original function of the rugs was as a decorative feature in the house, and only later on in their development, people started using them as prayer rugs as well. And today, they are used as both. So people buy them both as a decorative item or as prayer rugs. Good morning, good morning. Hi, Kim. Persian rugs are lovely, says Jana. My aunt lived in Iran for 9 years and brought many of them back to the US. I bet they sell like hot buns back there. A belt made with that pattern on the long side would be awesome, says Lori. Tamara says she visited Turkey many years ago with her family and went to a village where they made them. Wow. Yes, it is. It is very interesting how they are made. Because what makes them so special than other rugs, is the way in which they are woven. The technique that is used to produce the design creates a flat surface, so not a pile surface. So if you look on, let me put another picture on. If you look at the carpets or the rugs in comparison to other rugs and carpets, they are flat surfaced. They don't have this like 3D effect. There's no pile. And that one of the advantages of this technique is how very sharp the design is. There is no blur in the lines between the different colors. So when one color starts and one color begins, it's a very, very clear and flat line, which is what makes the design so, how do you say, not, sharp, so sharp. Yeah, so this is one of the advantages of this technique. It has a lot of other advantages, but that's something that's very, very unique. You don't get that blurred design. And when using this special technique, the weavers manage to produce a huge variety of motifs, and many of them have specific meanings, and so the whole rug design can actually carry within it a message of a sort. So when it originated, or when they first started making these rugs, each rug was unique. It was a very unique work of art. There were no two alike, and in many times it had some kind of special connection to the weaver who made it. They would make ones with prayers for protection for their family, for health, for riches. They will incorporate different elements for things like fertility or marriage. And there was a lot of story behind each one of the rugs, which made each of them so very unique. When they would make one as an order for, you know, a richer household, you know, the richer families. Someone would come and commission one. Then they would have specific requirements as to what should be in the design. And a lot of them had to do with wishes for the person who owns the rug or their families, or both. Hi, Sarit. Hello, Flora. I'm glad you all like the topic. Yes, Sonia. It's not a lot of no. So yeah, today, of course, with the advantage the advance in technology and the fading of this nomadic tribal life form, the Kilim style rug have become a somewhat mass-produced item. So with worldwide trade, the rugs acquired this marketability form that they did not have before. You know, people discovered, oh, we can export this. It's an oriental item that we can sell to the Western world, and it's very unique and exotic. And so they started mass producing them, and the local style with the social significance of each type of the carpets was kind of lost. This brought on two things. First of all, this export of mass-produced rugs to the Western world with specific designs chosen to fit the decorative style of this new market. These carpets have become a very popular choice because they are rustic and they have understated designs, and you know, they're there's like a fashion statement to the home. And the slight but sturdy construction makes them practically versatile. You can really do whatever you want with them, and they are very, very easy to maintain. So, you know, in today's home decoration market, it's something that's very easy to market. They still are expensive because they are made by hand. However, the feeling of each one of them being a unique piece that reflects the weaver's inner thoughts and wishes is kind of lost, because they kind of went with the designs that are more desirable, more marketable, that more people want and buy, and sort of like left this, each one is a specific piece behind. Doris says she received hers as a wedding gift. The giver told me it is to bless my marriage. Yes, so this is what they used to be. And which brings me to the second thing that happened, which this mass production of the rugs caused a spike in price for the ones that are still made by individuals with their own unique designs. So there are still weavers who make their own designs and don't follow these commercialized patterns. And if a weaver still offers a one-of-a-kind design in each piece they sell, their rugs are considered works of art, and there is a whole society of collectors which evolved around it. These sort of rugs are harder to find and can cost you an arm and a leg, but they do serve a purpose in keeping this ancient tradition, hanging on to what it was when it first began, and not letting the modernization of industrial world erase it completely from existence. Hi Jamie, hi Fiona, welcome in. Don't forget to thumbs up, everyone. In today you can also find antique Kilim rugs, and you can find them in several museums around the world, ones that have been preserved through times. You can find some of the more unique ancient ones at the Textile Museum in Washington, D.C., at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, at the Museum of Turkish and Islamic Arts in Istanbul, and also at the Sotheby's Gallery in London. So some of these are very, high-rated museums, and they have collections of these, just to show you how high valued this form of fiber art is. So in short, what really make this specific rug different than any other kind of woven rug is the system in which it is made, which makes it a flat weaving and not piled. And this creates a very distinctive design. It's very, very easy to see what rug is made in this way and not another, because the design is so sharp and the difference between the colors are not blurred. So let me show you some other ones. This one, for example, that I specifically chose this picture because I wanted to show you. So the other two that I showed you before, these two are Persian. And this one, the third one, this picture, this one, sorry, I said they are Persian. I meant to say they are from Iran. Sorry. Okay, so the first two were made in Iran. Well, this one, the third one, this one is from Serbia. So you remember we said it was the rug belt, right? Countries that were previously the Persian Empire, and ever since they have sort of like, each country, each region took to its own and developed their own style ever since the purge of the empire. So this one was made in Serbia, which is in the Balkan countries, and you can see already in the colors and the design itself that it is different in style than the two previous ones that we saw, which were from Iran. No, our Alice, Irish lace is on the list, but not for today. The reason is you guys all know that I did do a lot of research into Irish lace because we spoke a little bit about it when we talked about crochet history on the crochet history Yarniversity. I did want to incorporate the Irish lace into one of the lives in the cultural series. I just didn't think it should be in the first one because it is one that we already spoke about in the past. You guys all want to go to the Textile Museum in DC? Well, if you do, we would love to see a video. Right? Sonia is saying Serbia doesn't really come to mind when someone says Persian rugs, but Serbian folklore music has also Persian influences. Yes, I think even today you can see influences of the Persian Empire in the Balkan countries. So this picture is actually the Carpet Museum in Istanbul. No, the Museum of Turkish and Islamic Art in Istanbul, the rug and carpet section of the museum. And yes, as you can see, ones that have been preserved over time are on display there. If you look at the very right, you're right. So you're right. Am I right? You're right. I'm not sure. The one at the very end in the window that has two of them together, you can see that the edges of it and a little bit in the middle is missing. So you can see that they don't really survive well over time. The materials are not very durable over time, which is, as I said, why there were not that many of them found in different archaeologies. or exploration expeditions. You love the history of Irish lace. You learned so much. I'm glad. Yeah. Yeah, that I gotta say that the history, Yarniversity crochet history is one of the most popular videos on my channel. People watch it. Like, there are people watching it every day. So I'm very glad we did that one. It appears like a subject that a lot of people are interested in. Tamara says she also has a book she bought years ago called Living with Kilim, which is available used out. There is, if people want to check. Oh, okay. If people want to check out and learn more about these rugs, there is a book. Thank you. I'm gonna write down this name. Living with Kilim. If I can find a place where we can find that book, I will post links to that and maybe also edit it into the description box after the live. Rugs are designed to be stepped on. Who knew? No, Kim, I think that one of the things that we said, these rugs, they were also used as decorational items. So some people hung them up on walls, and they were also used later on as prayer rugs. So yeah, some of them were not quite designed to be, you know, stepped on for a long period of time. They got, you know, worn out. So there were, yeah, Judy, there were different material used. I know that in the pictures that I showed you, some of them were wool, some of them were cotton, some of them were wool and cotton blends. The majority, I believe, was wool from what I read. As far as I understood it, you make them with wool and cotton, and then so the colorful thread that you see is hand-dyed wool or wool fibers, and the cotton is the part that is used. It is used in the weaving, but because of that special technique that not thread. I didn't want to say thread. The fiber is not piled. It is this special weaving technique that they use in order to have it flat piled. The cotton is at the back of the carpet. So when you look at the back of a carpet, you will see the cotton thread, but the front of the carpet, you will only see the hand-dyed wool. And specifically, in the ones that I showed you, 2 of them also had some metallic threads in them, which come to show you that they were hanging in some very, very rich people's house. Hi, Bree, welcome in. The authors are Alistair Hall. Let me write this down real quick. Alistair Hall. Thank you, Tamara. Nicholas. James Morrell. Thank you. Sonia is saying it is available through Amazon. Thank you for those of you with the fast fingers on the keyboard. Basically, Google the title. Yeah, exactly. Catherine. All right, so these were the Persian kilims, or kilims. I keep pronouncing it the wrong way. Please forgive me. And I hope that that was interesting to you. It's a bit different fiber art from what we normally talk about today, but I thought a very, very interesting tradition. Especially, I found it interesting how each of them, or at least in the traditional way, each of them has like a certain a theme in them, like a blessing or a protection, asking for protection, some kind of prayer to God for your family, or if you gave them as a gift for different people, something that you wish for them, or if they were commissioned from you, then the person who commissioned them would say what they want them to convey. And each one of the symbols actually means something. And it's not that each one of the designers came up with their own symbols. The symbols are not international. Yeah, you can say international, but the symbols are known throughout the carpet weaving community, so they all use the same symbols. So that maybe each one of them had their own style, but certain elements would show up in all of them and mean the same thing, which I thought was, again, very, very interesting. It's like a sort of secret language, like a hidden message in a carpet. Oh, guys, you guys. About the weft and the wrap. Yes, you are correct. I just had no idea if we're gonna have people in the chat who understand these terms. So, I decided not to actually use them. But if you do, then yes, that is correct. Yes, universal. That's what I wanted to say. See, my words today are just not with me. Hi, Mare. Welcome in. It's okay if you came in late. Alice is saying it's similar to Irish Aran sweaters. Each family would have their own cable design. Really? I did not know that. Yes, like Renaissance paintings. Jamie says she has heard of hidden messages like blessing used in lace making. Yeah, that is correct. That it does exist in lace making as well. Okay, so I think we're gonna move on and talk about the next culture, which I personally am very, very excited to talk about because I've actually been there and seen some of them. Yes, Lori, it does sound a little bit. So the next culture that I want to talk about is the Huichol yarn paintings. And I'm going to show you a picture first. So this here is a yarn painting. Yes. Again, please excuse me if I at some point will pronounce it wrong. Even when I was there in Mexico, it took me forever to learn to pronounce the names of all the different tribes correctly. So the Huichol people lived in central Mexico and are known for several types of arts, which are unique to their cultures and traditions. One of the more interesting and intriguing of said arts is yarn paintings, which is also the best known and most famous of all their different arts. Yes, it is Mexican, correct. Yarn paintings are created in a very interesting process, and I must say that seeing them do it is one of the most amazing things. So the process itself, it might sound simple to you when I say it, But once you see the final piece here in front of you, you understand it is no child play. Spell it. Huichol is Huichol. It's spelled Huichol, and you say, wait, it's spelled like Huichol, and you say Huichol. From, if I remember correctly, again, the last time I was in Mexico was in 2008. Yeah, so yarn paintings, as I've said, no child play. It is more complex than it sounds, okay? So the way they make them is with natural glue made from tree resin and beeswax. And they apply that glue to a board, most traditionally a wooden board. And yarn is pressed into it and left to harden. So they spread the glue over the surface in the shape that they want it to be, and then they press yarn onto it, let it dry and harden. That's the way they make it. But as you can see in the picture before you, some of these paintings can take up to several weeks to be completed, because each and every one of these elements have to first be drawn with glue and then drawn with yarn. The designs are pretty much symbols from the mythology, from their cultural stories, their personal daily activities, all related to the Huichol people. Because they were a people that's very connected to the earth. Nature is a very common theme. They relayed on the earth for a lot of their everyday needs. So you will find depictions of agriculture, plants, different animals, water, streams, fish, and so on. So yeah, mythology and their traditions and their everyday lives. That is what you will find in the paintings. How they manage it is beyond me. I have to tell you, this is another one. When you see them do it, you still don't get it. Yes, with time and practice, exactly. But when at the time that this tradition developed, with no written language, this is how they would pass on their stories, their folklore, their stories of the creation, stories of floods, the birth of their gods, all their cultural. This is essentially like their Bible. Their mythology. Instead of the written word, it is in pictures. And the end result, as you can see, is absolutely stunning. I have to say, it is even more stunning in person. It is so vibrant. It is so complex. You stand in front of one of these and you can stare at it for hours. And it's really beautiful. It's a joy. It's a joy to watch, to experience. And much like many tribal arts that were later on discovered by the modern world, these intricate designs are no longer considered folk art. Instead, a lot of museums have now recognized them as highly detailed design and as fiber arts. So they are displayed and exhibited all over the world, and they are sold in galleries, and they sell for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Catherine, you just hid someone. I don't know if they said anything, but please check if you hid them for a reason or not. Yes, right, it is. It is beautiful. It's stunning. It's so vibrant. It's unbelievably beautiful. And yeah, well, they sell for a very high price. I can try. Okay. Yes, I did. Sorry for that, Flora. That was a mistake. All right, so I got it again as someone who was there. These do sell at galleries for a very high price, and but because it is a part of their culture, and they did realize, you know, the marketability of it. There are still some villages where you would see them sit and make it, and they would have like a stand in the street or in front of the house, where they will sell the ones that they have made, and those will be, you know, touristic trinkets, touristic souvenirs, and also appropriately priced for that. So if you want one, you know, to hang in your living room for cheap, you can get that too. But you can also get the non-touristic ones, the actual genuine ones, in local stores and galleries that sell them. They will be more pricey, but you will get a high quality good one. Right? It gives a Bible study a whole new perspective. Yes. So, but as I've said, because they did recognize how the market value of these, and that people are really interested in them. Modern yarn paintings also incorporate beads, and they are sometimes even developed into small sculptures like masks or animal heads, or something that you can hang on your wall and is not a flat painting but like a 3D thing. You know, they do with time evolve to, you know, satisfy the wishes of the modern world, but they still as a whole are created in the same ancient tradition way, with the same materials, and it is still a depiction of their mythology and their beliefs. They do still live in villages, and they still do live a lot of the earth, and have keep their ceremonies and so on. And so their original paintings still do depict the same way of life. You're going to Mexico in 2 weeks. They are called the Huichol. Yes, definitely look for them. They are located in the central western area of Mexico. I can't remember the exact name of the state. There are like 4 or 5 states, because as you guys know, if you know, Mexico is divided into states. They are like mainly in the central west. Yeah. So even though today they still use modern materials, new materials, you know, maybe mass-produced yarn and so on, the traditional symbols are still maintained, and they still transmit it to the younger generations, which I think is just amazing. Your son is getting married there. Oh, wow, that is nice. Yeah, I did a Mexico road trip where I went well, everywhere, everywhere. I was traveling with a local, so he took me to all the places that the tourists don't get to see, and it was a really nice trip. I think it was a few months long, and we were everywhere. Let me show you one more. This one I thought was really pretty. I love the colors of it. And look at the design. It's so complex when you look at it. And so as I've said, it's like when I tell you how it's made, it sounds very easy. Oh, you just put some glue on it and then you press the yarn in the shape you want it to be, and then you just let it dry. But look at the shape that the yarn is make. Isn't it amazing? Thank you, Sonia. Did you ask Google again? Your cousin tramped down the whole of Chile. Ooh. He wanted to go for 3 weeks and was there for a year. I can see how that happens. I can totally see how that might happen. I mean, I myself, I would go back in a second. I loved every second of it. That's okay, Alice. Lurking is welcome here. Right, I hope that, you guys found this as interesting and as beautiful as I found it. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you haven't yet. And here is one more. Look at the colors on this one. You have a black belt in Google Fu. Oh well. Well, I don't have any Mexican roots, but I had so much fun traveling there. So much. Right? Their mythology is super interesting. Again, like I said, I told you guys, I've been researching this subject for quite a few months now. So I did, go into all the details because that's just me. I'm geeky that way, and I'm a nerd. And I like to look into stuff. Of course, in order to have a Yarniversity class, I had to cut and edit the things that are more relevant to the topic and to the channel. But if you are interested in more information, you can always Google it. Just don't go against Sonia in Google. She apparently is a black belt. Fiona, there are a few videos on YouTube from people who have, just filmed while they were visiting there. And I even found a video of someone doing like a tutorial of how to make one. It's a very, 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 very basic one. But if you want to try and see how complicated it is, so that would be an idea. Yes, rabbit holes. I love falling into those. Here's the last one. This one is actually the thumbnail of today's video. So you may have already seen that huge bird, but I really love that one. It has so much detail. It looks like it has butterflies on the top there, and then you have that amazing bird. And there's the moon, and there's something that looks like a squirrel. I don't know. It's just amazing. All the little details. Once you dive into the painting, you keep finding new things. So it's beautiful. Hello, Nana's Crafty Corner. Donna, welcome in. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful. That one. Alice. Yeah, so those were the Huichol yarn paintings, and I do want to give like a little, you know, a little tip for those of you who want to find out more. Of course, you can always like Google Huichol yarn paintings and dive into the pictures and like find a whole bunch of them. But I have found some really nice ones on Instagram. So those of you who are on Instagram, you know, just write it in the search bar, and there is some really nice stuff. It makes you want to make them in diamond paintings. Yes, I thought this one, I personally thought that one was my personal favorite too, with the colors and everything. I don't know why it's sort of like it's really busy, but it's still calming in a way. Yeah, right? If we're talking fiber art, definitely a good way to use leftover yarns. Okay. Right. So, that was the second culture that I wanted to share with you guys today. And before we move on to the next one, as always, every week on Yarniversity, we have a giveaway. And for those of you who are new here or haven't taken part of it before, here's how it works. So, when this live is finished, so not right now, because if you do it right now, whatever you write will go into the chat. That doesn't count. So when the live is finished and it goes into replay, you come back to the video and you leave a comment down below. And today I want you to leave a comment and tell me which one of these cultures that we spoke about today, you know, was the most appealing to you, or you would like to go see an exhibit of, or you're most attracted to or interested in. You know, just that is the question. And you come back to the video, comment down below, and that would be your entry for this week's Yarniversity giveaway. And next week on Yarniversity, we will pull out the winner. And today's prize, last week I forgot to show you the prize, so the prize for last week is a mystery, and whoever the winner is, maybe they will choose to share with you guys what it was. But today's prize is this cool pack. So, wait 1 second. Every time you look at it, you see something new. Yes, you love. Oh, you saw my hoodie. This is my Yarniversity hoodie. And if you want one of your own, all you gotta do is follow the link down below to the Teespring shop, the merch shop, and you can get your own. Or you can get other things Yarniversity, like mugs, stickers, notion pouches, and so on. So this is for today's giveaway. So when you come back to the video and comment down below next week on Yarniversity, when we will pull the winner, they will win this. This is a yarn pack from the Het Nut. Now in this pack you get 8 balls, skeins of yarn. Each of these skeins is 50 grams and 50 meters. So you get 200 grams of this black and yellow chain spun one, and 4 skeins of that multicolored, variegated, I don't know how to call it one. They are both, as I've said, 50 grams and 50 meters, which makes them on the line between a medium and a bulky. From looking at them, I would classify the top one, the black one, as a bulky, and the bottom one as a worsted weight, medium weight 4. The top one, the black one, is 97% acrylic and 3% polyamide, and the multicolor one is 50% wool and 50% acrylic. So it does contain wool. Yes, for Befo Be Het, exactly. With the yarn, you also get that booklet inside. The booklet is an inspiration booklet. It does have some patterns, but it is in German. So if you win it and you're not German or you don't speak German, then you will either have to ask Google or use the pictures or use a different pattern. You don't actually have to use the pattern in the booklet, but just in case, you know, the pictures can always be inspiring. You also get some postcards that are in here and labels to put on your hat. So there are 2 sew on labels in here that will come with it. You wasted $50 on a hoodie and the creator turned out to be a hypocrite and a fraud. I wish I had known about Yarniversity instead. Oh, I'm so sorry, Ashley. That is really sad. I don't know what to say about that. People can be real shits. Hi, Christy. Hi, Vicky. Welcome in. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up when you guys come in. Or learn German. That's another option. As Sonia so cleverly stated out. So yeah, as I've said, these 8 skeins, 4 of each color, the sew-on labels, and the booklet. That is the prize, and all you gotta do is come back to the video once it goes into replay and leave a comment down below answering the question that I had asked. And next week we will choose the winner. So yeah, that's this week's giveaway. And don't forget, at the end of today's Yarniversity, we will choose the winner from last week. So if you didn't go back to last week's video to comment with the answer to the question that I asked last week, you still have until the end of today's Yarniversity to do so. And yes, last week I did forget to show you guys the prize. So at the end of the live, I wrote a comment and I said that the prize is gonna be a surprise, and people seem to like that. So yeah, the prize will remain a surprise, and whoever wins it, when they get it, if they want to show us, they can either share it on you know, Instagram, Facebook, or just tell me that you want me to say what the prize was, and I'll show everybody. Add some words to the hoodie. Yeah. I know, Sonia, it does. Hello. Hello. By the way, for those of you who haven't heard yet, next week on Yarniversity, I'm going to have a very special guest. And not only I'm going to have a very special guest, she's actually going to be here in person, sitting next to me. And we're going to host Yarniversity together next week. And that very special person is Catherine from Cat's Eye Catchers. So next week, you're getting a double feature. And I'm sure it will be very funny. And we're probably going to say hello a lot. All right, so yeah, moving on to the next culture that we want to talk about. So the next fiber art that I want to share with you all is Indonesian batik fabric. Now, this might be something that some of you actually know, or have, sorry, I have a hair in my mouth. That happens. So this is one that some of you probably know, have seen or have used or have worn even, that kind of fabric. Maybe you don't know that that's what you had, but you will get it once you see it. Exactly, 2 for the price of 1. Dennis is allergic to your mustache. All right, so This is Indonesian batik fabric. Batik is the name of an Indonesian wax-resist textile dyeing technique. Now, wax-resistant wax-resist technique is used in a lot of different things. If you ever, made decorated Easter eggs with wax, where you make a design in wax and then you dip them in the color and then you wash off the wax, and then the areas that were covered in wax are left undyed and create a design. In the same way, you do the same with crayons when you're a kid, and it's a method that is used in a lot of different kinds of art, this wax resist dyeing. But specifically, wax resist textile dyeing of that kind was developed in Indonesia, specifically in the island of Java. And so it is called Indonesian batik. And so it was refined and elevated to its own fiber art. Batik textiles feature so wait, before I'm gonna say that, look at the fabric that you see in front of you in the picture that I, just put on the screen. Can you imagine that this entire design was made by different layers of wax painting and then, dyeing the fabric, removing the layer, creating a new layer, and so on. And this is how the batik fabric was created. When you think about the way that it was made and then you see this design, I think it's quite extraordinary. You went to a batik studio in Sri Lanka. Wow, right? It's amazing craftsmanship. I totally agree. So the textile feature ornate geometric patterns created by brushing or pouring hot wax onto undyed fabric. The fabric is then dyed and the wax is removed with boiling water to reveal the patterns. And then this process can be repeated multiple times, or as many times as you want, to create different layers with different colors. So look at what we see in front of us. There are, 4 different colors in this design, hence 4 different levels of coloring, 4 different layers, and 4 different times painting with the wax, dyeing, removing, painting again. Just amazing craftsmanship. Yes, Annika, I'm sure it is. So this method, batik and batik fabric, it is very important to Indonesians. Many of them wear batik fabric to formal or casual events. It is very commonly used in various rituals, ceremonies, traditions, celebrations, and even in daily uses. In fact, it is so important to their culture that on October 2nd, 2009, UNESCO officially recognized it as a masterpiece of oral and intangible heritage of humanity, and encouraged the Indonesian people and government to safeguard, transmit, promote, and develop the craftsmanship of batik. So not only it is an incredible craftsmanship and amazing fiber art, it is also a fiber art that is recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage fiber art that should be teach to future generation to maintain it. Isn't that amazing? It is a lot of work. Catherine is saying she loves working with batik fabric in patchwork as well. Yeah, I agree. Beautiful. Beautiful fabric. Sorry, I had to like wait for the chat. It didn't move for a second. Yeah. So with the evolution of trade routes and the global textile industry evolving, of course, it is, you cannot avoid the modernization of this. People would want to, try to recreate it in an easier, not handmade way. And today it is produced in factories all over the world using machines to make what we call stamped batik fabrics. However, nothing made in a factory for mass production can match in style and quality to the hand written or painted batik, which is still produced in certain areas of Indonesia to this day. Your daughter learned batik in high school art. Wow. Wow. So here are some other examples. Once again, look at this design. It may only have 4 colors of it. So, once again, we said 4 colors, 4 layers of dyeing. But look at that design. Look at it. Someone had to like stamp that fabric over and over and over again to create this amazing design. Hi, Catherine. Welcome in. I think it's amazing, and of course they use this fabric in, as I've mentioned, in everyday life, and so some of it is used to create, they make the fabric and then they make different clothing out of it. Some are more ceremonial and some are also everyday clothing, so you can find different wraps, sarongs, different skirts, dresses made out of this, even hats. Both men and women wear it in Indonesian culture, so there's quite a lot of different items that are made of it, and it's just incredible how how precise this craftsmanship can get. There's an incredible YouTube community on how batik, documentary on how batik fabric is made. I'm sure it is very, very interesting. I've actually watched a while I was researching this. I watched something from the Discovery Channel that they actually, okay, this is a side note. I, as an Israeli, am not allowed into Indonesia. Had I been allowed, I've probably been traveling there by now, but I'm not allowed. So I was amazed in general by Indonesia in that documentary, but specifically, but this amazing, amazing craftsmanship and how they developed it. And people actually today still do it by hand, which is amazing. It takes so much time and so precise, and it's incredible. Right, Catherine. I agree, Lori, that that can happen. So here we see up close an artist applying a layer of wax to an already dyed fabric. So that means they're adding another layer of color. And you can see up close how it looks. It's this device that she holds. It's sort of like a pen where you pour the wax on the top and then you paint with it, just like an ink pen. Um, color study is very important. Knowing about the transparency of colors. Yes, I agree. I agree. I'm glad you like it. Here's another one up close where you can see this is the first layer. So you can see that they painted the design onto the fabric and then they go over the design with that wax pen to get exactly the lines that they want. So there's like there are levels in the making. You know, first you draw it on the fabric and then you go over the drawing with the wax and then you apply the first layer of dye and then you wash off the wax and then you apply the next and so you understand how meticulous and maybe sometimes also maybe a bit Sisyphic this might feel. And I have one more here where you can see more of a geometric design being made. I think it's amazing to see that they're actually still doing it by hand. You know, cloth by cloth. And then here you can see a few finished ones. So just look at the vibrancy on that. That is amazing. There are three different designs here in this picture. I think it's just incredible. I mean, the amount of color in those fabric is when you think how much work goes into each and every one of these designs, it's just incredible. All right. Last picture I wanted to show you guys is this one because I did mention stamped wax, stamped fabric, the way they sort of like machinerized? No. Machinerized the making process. And I mentioned that it can be produced in factories using stamped wax cloth. So this one, of course, that you see on the picture is actually made by hand. This is not a factory. This is an artist doing it by themselves. However, the machines in the factories work in the same way. So you will have a block with the design on it that will then be submerged into the wax and then put onto the fabric. So it's stamped. So the fabric is stamped with the wax. So the machines in the factory work in the same way that person is doing it manually. I just thought this is a good example or to show how it looks, because you can't really get pictures of those machines. Or you can get them. You're not allowed to show them. They are property of the factory. You had an acquaintance in college from Indonesia. His dorm room was decorated with so much beautiful fabric, about passed out once when he wiped Cheeto dust on a silk pillow. Oh, man. Mechanized. Yes, that's probably the way you should say it. I told you guys, my English is not with me today. I prepared you guys in advance at the beginning of today's live. In a few hundred years, some of our work that time was kind to might be considered like these art forms. Yes, it might very well be. That is a very nice way to think of it. All right, so that was Indonesian batik fabric. So until now, we had three very different types of fiber arts today. What do you guys think so far? I think I managed to gather a good collection of different fiber arts. We still have two to cover today. But I just wanted to come back and remind you guys, if you haven't yet, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe down below. If you're interested in joining the membership program, the little join button next to the subscribe button will tell you everything you need to know about that. And if you are already a member of the channel, I mentioned this at the beginning of today's live, but if you guys missed it, we had our members only live yesterday, and if you are a member of the channel, you can still go back and watch the replay of that, get the pattern for this month's members only pattern. And if you post pictures of whips or finished ones, either on Instagram or on Facebook using the hashtag members only project and tag me, that will enter you into this month's giveaway for the members only. You grabbed a pillow and handed him a paper towel. He said, "You must be channeling my mother." Interesting. I'm very glad you guys are enjoying this. I was really hoping that people will find it as interesting as I find it, because I really think there's a lot to be learned here from different cultures and the way different fiber arts develop culturally. Yes, Lori, definitely job well done saving that silk pillow. Yeah. So, as I've said before, don't forget to come back and comment on today's video to enter into giveaway. If you weren't here in the beginning of today's live, I did say that I'm having a stitch marker sale on the Etsy shop. All stitch markers are currently on sale, so if you were thinking of getting any of them, that would be the best time. And there is one last January yarn club left on the on the Etsy shop. So once again, if you were thinking, not sure if you want to get the yarn club, debating, now is your very last chance. The yarn club boxes will be shipped next week, and there's only one left, as I've said. Have I done an episode on India traditional ceremonial clothing? Not yet. Although I do know a lot about it, you know, being half Indian and all. I'm very glad you guys are enjoying the topic so far. So I think we will dive into the next one. I think this next one is probably known or more known to the most of you. Maybe some of you even, you know it personally, or own some pieces. So here we go. Let's dive into Amish quilts. Quilts. Not kilts. Kilts is something else. Amish quilts. So in general, quilts have a long history, and they were first made to keep people warm during cold winters. Essentially, at their base, they are blankets. Quilt making as a whole can be traced as far back as ancient Egypt, and evidence of its use and development can be found in different cultures and traditions all over the world. Eventually, the art of quilting grew into the beloved and respected art from the respected art form that we all know today. But it has developed over time, and as I've said, you can find different depictions of quilts throughout histories in a lot of different cultures. Yes, Doris, I know you do. And actually, when I was preparing today's live, I kept thinking, I wonder if Doris will be there. Wow, Lori, that's amazing. I think that you should have started with that. That is like the point of the whole story. Yes, Denise, that is correct. Um, all right. So, in America, quilting became popular among the Dutch, English, and Irish settlers. Early settlers had drafty houses, and the thick quilt helped block icy winds and cold. And while often used as bed coverings, they were also used in other ways, such as covering windows, floors, providing a form of currency. People will trade in them, and so they became quite a large portion of everyday lives. Um, every autumn there is a major auction. They go for thousands of dollars. I can imagine that. They are a form of art. So immigrant women in America would send patterns and fabric back and forth across the Atlantic Ocean as a way to keep in touch and keep up with what was going on in their home country's popular culture. They wanted their quilts to be on fashion, on trend. So they kept sending patterns back and forth, so that their quilts will be the latest the latest word in the world of quilting, which I thought was very amusing. Quilting actually became an important social activity as women formed quilting bees to socialize while they completed their large hand-sewed creations. So of course, working on a quilt takes a very long time. If you sit by yourself at home, it can be quite boring. Especially in a time when you don't have Netflix. So they formed the early settlers. They formed these groups of ladies sitting quilting together, and that sort of became their gossip circle. Where they keep up with what's going on while working on their quilts. And so the making of the quilts became a big part of the American everyday life. Today, many people still make quilts as a hobby, but none do so quite like the Amish. They are known for living a simple lifestyle free from technology and away from modern society. And so Amish quilts making sorry. And so Amish quilt making reflects the simplicity of their culture, which is probably why they are so popular and considered a form of art. You went to Lancaster area to buy one out in the courtyard in a private home. Yeah, we'll talk about where you can get them. You've been quilting since you were 5. Wow, with your grandma. That is amazing. I can't sew for the life of me. You're using of the quilts my mom made right now. Wow. So many works of art. It's amazing how each region developed their own. With today's technology, it's kind of frightening to think this way of making will disappear. I agree. I totally agree, which is, I think, every form of fiber art should become a UNESCO heritage thing. Delphine's Handcraft says, yes, I love visiting Lancaster country and see all the Amish creations. I haven't been for 2 years, but hopefully again soon. Yes, exactly. This is a quilting bee. This is a modern day one. Roberta says she lives in an area with a large Amish population. Many of the younger do not quilt anymore. I was adopted by a Pennsylvania Dutch family and was taught to quilt a long time ago. Oh wow, that is amazing, Roberta. I bet there's a really interesting story there. Right. So, yeah, so quilting has always been an important activity for the Amish women, and social gatherings where women would meet and sew together and discuss homemaking and other community news were called quilting circles. So they don't actually call them quilting bees, but these gatherings were a source of entertainment for the Amish women. Given that they don't they don't really use this sort of entertainment that we all do. They also provided an opportunity to talk with the younger Amish girls and teach sewing techniques to them. That is also where girls were taught the things they needed to know about caring for a home and a family. So it was pretty much, the gossip circle, or the women's circle. It was all gathered, or is still gathered all around this art of making quilts. Quilts were also used with messages to guide slaves escaping through the Underground Railway. That is very interesting detail there. No, I didn't, Sonia, but maybe you can talk about it later and insert it in another one of the universities. Your family has several handmade quilts from a great grandmother. She was the fiber artist of the family. She sewed, quilted, and crocheted, and even upholstered furniture. Really? Wow. All right, Fiona, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. You love that mindset of using up every small piece of precious fabric, right? I love that too. It's like we like to use, yarn scraps. Now people just throw things away, but back then there was no Joann's fabrics. I know. Hi, Ursula. Yeah. So welcome in. The quilt patterns often told stories about the women who quilted them, so their beliefs, their emotions, and events that they were going on in their lives. It became a mean of expression, which was acceptable to the Amish community, since the actual creation of a bed covering was a practical task. So you see, they don't. Expressing your emotions is not something that Amish people do. The Amish women found a form of art in which they can do art without it being considered inappropriate. And what's more interesting and unique, the Amish patterns were created without the influence of the outside world. So there's no television, magazines, or knowledge of modern fashion, or modern styles, or culture. They developed the patterns on their own, which is why there's such a distinctive look to an Amish quilt compared to one that's not. Someone about 20 years ago wrote a book about it. It has since been proven to be incorrect. Oh, that's interesting. You've made a vow to make a quilt before you die and not by hand. Oh, okay. Right. So, as we said, quilting is still an integral part of the Amish culture today, with all the special quilts being made for special occasions. So, they make quilts to give at weddings, when someone is born, so for births, just, as friendship tokens. They are also seen as precious family heirlooms to be passed down through generations. And in one of the articles that I read, someone was saying that when you come to an Amish gathering in someone's house, you would put your coats or your overgarments, your coat, scarf, whatever you had on, traditionally you would put it on the bed. And so the quilts were made to cover the bed, and they were made so that when people come over to put their things on the bed, they will appreciate the craftsmanship in your quilt. And so it was a way of, showing off without actually showing off, because you're not allowed to show off if you're Amish. So I thought those little details about like how women found a way to express themselves, show off, gossip without actually doing it. Trying to read the chat, but you guys are writing a lot. Your favorite scene of the musical Seven Brides for Seven Brothers is when they are trapped over the winter and the women make skirts. Oh, yes! That is correct. I remember that movie. Wow, I didn't think about that movie in quite a while. Yeah. So, though Amish quilts are seen as beautiful works of art, the Amish community remain humble. So, to view their quilts as forms of art for them would be to show egotism, and in Amish culture, that's allowed. That sort of behavior is shunned. So instead, Amish communities allow their quilts to be sold to outsiders to help sustain their intimate communities. So instead of showing off, they sell them. They don't say, "Oh, I made this beautiful work of art." They sell them mostly to sustain themselves, and not to show off and say, "Oh, mine sold for more," or such things. There are many places where consumers can buy these quilts. As someone here in the chat mentioned, you can buy them in the communities. Sometimes they will have like an open cottage or something where they will sell their local made quilts. But there are also many websites featuring Amish quilts. They do allow their quilts to be sold to a third party, because they themselves, of course, don't use this kind of technology or the internet. So instead, they sell through a third party who operates a website, and so you can also buy them online. Are you talking to me, Sonia? I don't think I did. The chat was going too fast, so I always read the last two comments. You guys know I'm really bad with keeping up with the chat. So today you can buy books and patterns containing different instructions on how to make your own Amish quilt. But of course, unless you're Amish, it won't actually be an Amish quilt. It might look like the real deal, but it wouldn't be considered authentic because they are, after all, even though the Amish people don't recognize them as such, or at least don't openly recognize them as such, they are works of art, and so, you know, it will be just like a cheap knockoff. So here are some more pictures of those quilting circles, as they call them today, where you can see that even younger women take part and learn. The quilting is sewing the layers together with an intricate pattern. The first picture was quilting. You are correct, Sonia. I'm not sure. Oh, were you talking about one of the pictures? Was one of them? I was wondering, since someone mentioned saving scrap fabric for quilting, the scrap fabric thingy is patchwork quilting. Is adding padding and sewing. Oh yeah, okay. Yes. I understand now. Hi, Christy. Doris is saying that in October in Blaine, Pennsylvania, at the Amish Heritage Days, you can buy one from thousands. Oh yeah, I bet they do have quite a lot of these. Here are some very interesting one. I thought the one that she is hanging on the line is beautiful. I don't think I've seen such design in a quilt before. I thought it was beautiful. And then I have this picture. This is actually from a an Amish community store. From one of the Amish communities that they have their own, like I said, you can buy, they have like a local cottage where you will be able to buy their quilts, and so that you can see a whole selection of them. You grew up sewing since you were about 8 years old. When you were 16, you made a quilt with all of the leftover fabric. Wow. That is amazing. Hi, Anita. Sorry I'm late. Been sleeping all day yesterday and most of today so far. Not feeling... I hope you will feel better soon, Anita. Sonia. Right? I thought the purple one was really pretty too. Lori saying, this is not a pleasant rabbit hole, but Google the Lynch Quilts Projects, a modern storytelling through quilts about the American history of lynching. Oh, wow. Let me write that down. That actually sounds like, yeah, maybe not a nice one, but an interesting one. Lynch Quilt Project. Thank you, Lori. Made a prairie point hot pad with heat-resistant padding. Does that count as quilting? I don't think so. The previous one was a Borgello or something like that, says Catherine. That's a very modern design for Amish to use. Yes, one of the things that I came across when I was researching this is that they have, of course, realized that, selling their work is good for their community, and so they may not have access to modern designs, but they certainly have the ability to talk to people, and bring more intricate things into it. So some of them still, well, most of them still do the traditional ones. And I think the traditional ones are also the ones that probably sell the most because they are so distinctive. However, they do try from time to time to cater to, you know, the pop culture. I have heard that some of them have been shunned for doing so, but sometimes they do. If you quilted it, it does count, says Catherine. Sonia is saying she's part of the Progressive Petticoat project on Facebook. Sadly, the page fell silent, but it was about quilted clothing. That is interesting. Those must be like really, you know, warm and kind of heavy, but cool. Okay, so that was Amish quilting, which, as I said, is maybe not, it's not a different technique from regular quilting. However, because of the way the Amish people preserve their ways and their society, their designs, and has a very distinctive form, and you can very easily tell a Amish quilt from a different quilt by different, you know, not rules but guidelines that they all follow that are similar in between them. And so in the world of fiber arts, Amish quilts do have their own place, and they are recognized as a cultural traditional fiber art. Yes, Sonia. By adapting the size of the color block, you get these heavy psychedelic patterns. Yeah, I'm sure it can be done in crochet too. All right. So, moving on to our very last one of the day, which I, again, feel is, okay, all the ones we talked about today are special, and each of them is different in their own way. Hi, Rita. It's your other love. Again, I cannot, anything that has to do with sewing, I cannot do. So I appreciate anyone who does anything like that. So yeah, the next one is something that I thought was very different in the world of ancient fiber arts. And you will understand why very, very soon. But I just thought that I had to put it into the first episode because it was so much different than all the rest. And I am talking about Paracas and Paracas embroidered cloths. So the Paracas Peninsula is on the southern coast of Peru, and it was home of the Paracas culture over 1,000 years before the rise of the Inca. So think of when the Inca, the ancient culture of the Inca, about 1,000 years before the rise of the Inca. In the peninsula of Paracas lived the Paracas tribes. It was a society of farmers and fishermen, but unlike other ancient American culture, it is best known not for its monumental architecture, but for what lay buried below the ground. A necropolis of hundreds of miraculously preserved mummy bundles. Now, when we say mummy bundles, we don't mean a bundle of mummies, we mean each one of these mummies were individually buried in some burial chamber with a whole bundle of things, which researchers assume were meant to serve the dead in their next life, or in their next journey. So each one of those mummies was wrapped in different clothes and cloths, which were hand embroidered, and we'll talk about it in just a second. Sewing isn't that hard. Authentic Amish quilts must be 100% hand done, no long arm. It's good to know. You just emailed a link to some information about that quilt project. Thank you, Lori. I will look at it after the live. So, as we said, the Paracas Peninsula mummy bundles. The mummies were found wrapped in a sumptuous embroidered textile, some reaching up to 4 feet in circumference. The textiles ranged in quality from rough, undecorated cloth to the finest embroidered mantles. And I think that is just amazing about all the detailed work, and I will show you a picture in just a second, that they put into something that was used to wrap and be buried with the dead. So let me put up the first picture, and that is a piece of one of those cloths. Maracas. Yeah. So these textile provided some of the most stunning examples of pre-Columbian Andean fiber art. Close examination reveals a great deal of information on the sophisticated embroidery technique they have developed. This system of textile production and their belief system. Because, of course, you can learn a lot about someone's belief system from the way they bury their dead and from what they embroider on the cloth that they use to wrap their dead. So there was a lot to be learned about, their mythology, their life, the different status of the different people. If your family was wealthy, you would be buried in something that's more decorated with a lot more possessions buried along with you, rather than, the poorer families. So there's a lot that you can learn about a culture and their way of producing this textile, which has a very somewhat morbid use. Maracas. It's Paracas with a P. But yeah, a lot of work put into that. So the Paracas embroidered cloth were made out of cotton and camelide fibers. Now, let's explore that for a second. Cotton, maybe they would have, because they lived along the coastline. However, camelid fibers, which if you were here when we talked about the unique and rare fibers, camelid is everything that comes from the camel family, meaning when we are talking about Peru, llamas, alpacas, vicuñas, and so on. Now, llamas, alpacas, and vicuñas live in the highlands of the Andes. They don't live down the coastline, and so they would have to engage in quite heavy trade in order to obtain these fibers, which are at the time that we are talking about not cheap. Right. You have to think about the sort of tools that they had available to them that that are not the same tools that we have available to us today. So it is assumed, of course, that the weavers would have procured the fibers through long distance trade. Cotton would have been used for weaving the ground cloth. So when each kind of cloth that they would have had would come from hand woven, because there were no factories back then. You couldn't just go and buy, yards of cotton fabric to embroider. So they would hand weave the cotton cloth and then use this different fiber that they have purchased to embroider on top of it, which I think is amazing. Again, when we are talking about over 3,000 years ago. What are you guys saying? Sorry. Show how strong their belief system was. Yes, so much work into burial rites. Yes. You looking at this and thinking they believed the afterlife was a happy place, not to be irreverent, but it reminds me of emojis. Yeah, a little bit. I can see that. Right? It is some expensive fibers for your deceased. It does. As I've said, it says a lot about what they thought about the afterlife. Here's another example. Just look at all the details in that one. Yeah. So as we said, they would hand weave the cotton, and then they will use high quality camelide thread to embroider and embellish this cloth. The end result is brightly colored and show evidence of both a design and a style. You can clearly see images in the design. And one of the most extraordinary masterpieces that was found is nearly 2,000-year-old cloth that, despite time, somehow survive. And despite that specific cloth being relatively small, it contains a vast amount of information in its design. So I will show you that one. 1 second, we will get back to this one. But look at this one. That is the one that I am talking about right now. Look at the detail. This is, you can see the images, you can see what they wear, you can see different animals in there. And this is another picture of the same one, close-up of a different section of the same cloth. Look at that. It looks 3D. It's an amazing detail to put on something, that it eventually goes in the ground. So even years and years later, over 2,000 years later, the colors are still vibrant and you can see every tiny detail. It is amazing how intact it is. It shows you the great deal of craftsmanship and the high level of craftsmanship that was put into that. And once again, like Sonia said, you got to think about the simple tools that they had and such an early culture of the Andean region of South America, and they produce textiles of this astonishing quality and great virtuosity, I must say. When you look at this one, there are demons, hybrid animals, has a body of one animal and the head of another. You can see depiction of, I don't know, their gods. It's incredible. It's just incredible to think that they were able to achieve that with what little that they had, in comparison to what we have today. Many modern people bury their loved ones in silk or satin-lined coffins, but beautiful coffins of string, but beautiful metal or wood. Sometimes the coffin are put in marble monuments. Yes, I agree. We have a lot. We put a lot into burying our dead as well. That is correct. But I think that this, what we know or believe about, or different cultures, of course, believe different things, but what the modern world today regards our dead is a lot different than what they thought back then. I mean, yes, we put a lot of thought about how we bury our loved ones, but I think, at least that in most places around the world, you no longer bury someone's possession along with them, or like the ancient Egyptian did, their pets and servants as well. But yeah, so this is that one piece that I was telling you about. Now, let me show you another one. Look at that design. Just thinking that this is all woven and embroidered at over 3,000 years ago. Now, these have been, as I've said, this culture no longer exists. So the reason we have these or see these is because they were found in different either archaeological digs, expeditions, or just by random people, traveling the area, finding the caves, the undergrounds, and discovering those burial chambers. And so large quantities of these textiles were looted and then illegally exported to museum and private collections all over the world, mainly between the years of 1931 and 1933. Recently, not recently, they have been there for a while, but about 100 of them were taken to Sweden and donated to the ethnographic department of the Gothenburg Museum. And recently, so in recent years, there's a plan put in motion to systematically return some of these to Peru, because I think we can all agree that they are part of Peruvian culture and should be displayed in some kind of heritage museum there. However, in the early 30s, laws regarding, or the world regard for looting such items and selling them, and then museum acquiring them and adding them to their collections, they were not regarded in the same way they do today. And so a museum that had that item in their collection since the early 30s is now being requested to give them back, and they say, why? And so there's a whole discussion right now. The Gothenburg Museum tried to to claim that the cloths that they have in their collection are too delicate to be transported anywhere, and moving them to a new museum might just damage them, and some of them are not even on display from fear of them being damaged. But yeah, I am hopeful. As I've said, there is already an agreement between the two governments to make an effort and bring the cloths back home. And I hope that eventually they will be somewhere on display where the world can enjoy and learn from them. You think they started that artwork long before someone died? That is a very good question. Very good question. Yes, they also dyed the fiber. You are correctly. Important people started the whole the work long before they actually died. Yeah, that could be. They could be that they are already commissioned it like long before. Jana is saying she loves the meaning behind all the artwork we've seen today. Even if we don't believe the same anymore, the story makes them priceless. I agree. Yes, Lori, it is very interesting. I'm sure, researches can be written on that subject alone. I'm sure researches have been written on that subject alone. But yeah, I think, amazing craftsmanship displayed here. Okay, and that was the last one for today. I hope that you guys enjoyed the different cultures that we explored today. And like I said, this Yarniversity will repeat itself throughout the year, not all at once. Every couple of months I will do one more with a few more of the cultures that I dove into. I thought they were all so interested. I could not pick just a few. I do want to talk about all of them. So we're gonna repeat this Yarniversity a few times along or throughout the year, just as we do with the art Yarniversities and the fashion ones. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed it and that you liked it and that you find the subject interesting and that you'll be looking forward for the next one. It was so normal to start the burial preparation long before death. We, the modern human, are way too detached from death. It was more than common to sew one's death shirts and so on, says Sonia. And Ursula is saying, so for important people, it will be like a woven vlog because they have to keep it up until the day the important person is no longer. Yeah. Yes. That is very interesting what you're saying there, Bev. The figures appears to have some kind of breathing apparatus. Yes, they do seem kind of like alien-like. I'm really glad you guys had fun and that you enjoyed learning with me today. Annika is saying, I'm all for returning art crafts to the original country as long as the country is stable. But when I think of Syria, in particular Spanish paintings, it might be a good thing. Oh, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Doris. I'm so glad that you guys liked today's topic and that you feel like you learned something new. Tamara is saying she thinks we, our modern society, are waiting for something to keep us alive longer so we don't prepare for death. That is correct. Um, Thank you, Dee. Yes, if you haven't yet, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up for today's live. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe down below. And don't forget, if you want to join the membership program, the little join button next to the subscribe button will tell you everything you want to know about that. And one last time for the members who may have missed me saying this, yesterday's members only live is already on replay, so you can go back and watch and get the pattern for the members only project for this month. And every picture you post with a whip or a finished one by the end of January will enter you into the members only giveaway for this month. Angela, glad I could keep you busy while you're working on your role. All right, well, there's nothing left to do but choose last week's winner. So let me take you with me to the YouTube random comment picker. There we are. I already inserted the URL for last week's video. I only need to filter the duplicate users and get the comments. And we have 35 comments on last week's video. So let's start and see who wins. I just want to remind you guys that last week I did ask a question, and if the comment that comes up does not answer the question that I asked, then the person, the comment will have to choose another comment. Last week's Yarniversity was about year-long make-alongs and crochet-alongs, and I asked you guys to tell me in the comments if you know about ones that we did not talk about, or ones that you are taking part in this coming year, or if you're not. And that was the question. So let us see, and good luck to everyone. Remember, the winner will win the surprise prize. And it's Hannah. Hannah Sideri. She says she finished catching the replay. Thank you for this really deep research of the crochet alongs and make alongs. And she said she is trying to join Expression Fiber Arts Mystery Blanket crochet along. No, knit along. And it's going on Ravelry. So thank you, Hannah. That was actually one that I did not cover, so it's very nice of you to mention that to us, and congratulations. Please email me to claim your prize, and don't forget to give me your address, and I will ship your prize to you. And if you want, once you get it, if you want to share with everyone what it is, then you can. Oh, thank you, Christy. Aww. So yeah, congratulations to Hannah. Cheers to Hannah. And thank you very much to Christy for the super chat. So cheers for super chat. I only have 2 sips left in the cup. That means you guys gave a lot of super chats today. Thank you all very, very much to everyone who donated through super chat. And thank you very much for everyone who has been here today. You are working on your dress for your son's wedding. Oh, wow. I would love to see that once that's done. So yeah, thank you very much for, being here, watching, joining me, coming back to the channel. I don't take that for granted, and I appreciate that a lot. So as always, I will leave the chat running for a few seconds so that everyone can say goodbye to everyone. But I encourage you all in half an hour, I believe that Dee is going live on her channel. So pop over and say hi to her. Dee, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have dinner, so I'm probably not gonna be there. But you guys, she's here, so I said hi. Hi. Yeah, so I will see you all probably next week. And oh my god! Thank you, Jaxie. Cheers to you. Thanks, Jax. Oh, you're a sweetie. Oh, I'm so glad, Chris, that you find something that you want to do. Yeah, so I hope you guys will join me next week for Yarniversity because Catherine from Cat's Eye Catchers is going to be here in person, and we are going to do next week's Yarniversity together. And it's going to be a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to seeing all of you there. So until then, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye.